The Terminator franchise has gone to shit over the past 10 years or so. Sure, Terminator 1 and 2 are absolute classic films that changed modern cinema. Looking at modern movies, or well, anything past Terminator 2, you can see the slow decline of the series to where it gets to the god-awful movies like Terminator Genisys and Dark Fate.
Yeah, but they were all bad.
Then there's video games, and again, like most movie tie-in games, they're as good as waxing your asshole with Gorilla Tape. Randomly though, and at the recommendation by a mate, Terminator Resistance came in out of nowhere. A Terminator game made by Terminator fans, and while you're thinking, yes, I've heard something like this before.
We're Aliens fans, and we've taken the risk to tell the story of what happens next.
This game is actually not bad. Terminator Resistance is a first-person shooter developed by Teon, which takes place in the far-flung future of 2029 during the war against Skynet. Now you play as Jacob Rivers, a member of the Resistance who finds himself getting separated from his team and surviving with a group of scavengers while you're finding your way back to the Resistance. It's pretty straightforward and simple stuff. The game starts off with you waking up from what appears to be somewhat of an ambush, and there's elements of the Matrix in here because you're taking instructions from a man over the radio. The start of the game plays a little similar to that of Skyrim. You'll learn how to avoid detection, which is a key part of the game for the first couple of hours. You'll learn how to shoot, which is pretty straightforward seeing as it's a first-person shooter. You basically start off with a basic pistol before getting a Uzi 9mm, and as soon as I got this weapon, I immediately noticed the attention to detail and love Teon put into Terminator Resistance.
You know your weapons, buddy.
After that, and between missions, you return to a safe house where you'll be able to restock ammo, change weapons, and even get side missions. There's even a crafting table so you can craft, well, items and ammo. Now, while crafting systems in other games like Cyberpunk are convoluted and confusing, Terminator Resistance keeps it simple and it just makes sense. You'll be out in the world doing a main or a side mission and you'll go through a rundown hospital and you'll find medpacks, sure, but you'll find materials so you can make them yourself. You'll also be able to make pipe bombs, and while yes, they're the pipe bombs that are modelled off the first Terminator film, you can also make can grenades, which is also again pulled straight out of the first Terminator film. Gameplay for Terminator Resistance is actually pretty good. Nothing over the top that will knock your socks off, but also serviceable at the same time. Rather than traditional or linear levels, you'll have small sandbox levels allowing you to tackle missions in nearly any way. You can crouch and avoid detection sneaking into buildings, or you can go balls to the wall loud, but it also might not be the right idea to do that. There are a load of different enemy variants in Terminator Resistance that will give fans of the series an erection, and if erections last longer than 4 hours, just play more Terminator Resistance. You'll start off by going up against drones and little spider bots before avoiding detection or fighting smaller, weaker units like something like that out of Star Wars a little bit. Before you know it, you'll be avoiding detection and gunfire from hunter-killers. Now, most of these enemies can be avoided and they'll go down by shooting their weak spots, but there are moments in Terminator Resistance where all you can do is run and hide, like the first time you encounter T-800s. Now, just like in the first Terminator film, the T-800 is resistant to most standard weapons, and you'll need to sneak past them. The first time you encounter Terminators, and proper Terminators, is inside a hospital, and Terminator Resistance goes from a first-person shooter to alien isolation in a fucking heartbeat. Now, the sound design for some sections of the game absolutely help with the atmosphere for certain levels that they're trying to set as well. Now, booting up the game for the first time, we'll have this modern 80s, 90s rock version of the original Terminator theme. Inside the hospitals, when you need to avoid patrolling T-800s, it's flat up horrifying. Even later on in the game, when you actually can take on the T-800s, due to my first encounter with them, I avoided them like the damn Xenomorph, and it's all due to the score. The attention to detail and love for the Terminator franchise in Resistance is fantastic. Most missions take place at night because it's safer to move around, just like the line from the original Terminator film. You'll be chased by a Terminator in disguise and he's wearing the punk jacket that the T-800 wears in the original Terminator film. He'll get hit by a truck, and it's a black truck, and it's probably the black truck from Terminator 2. You'll go through the Resistance bunker, and it's the same bunker from the first Terminator film, with the dogs at the front door. If you're a Terminator fan, then you'll love Terminator Resistance. Hell, if you take on a T-800, you'll need to use their plasma weapons against them because standard weapons do jack shit to them besides slowing them down. Now, as previously mentioned, there are side missions that will obviously pad out the length of the game, but will also win approval from your fellow Resistance members and friends. There's the game's babe Jennifer and her cockblock brother Patrick, who'll have side missions like finding Patrick's chalk at his house, which is surrounded by T-800s because the house was used as a safe house. You'll even find a lone German Shepherd pup which is locked in a room, and you'll give it to Patrick as a companion, and you'll even be able to help name the dog, which is another movie reference.
What's the dog's name?
Max. Hey, Janelle. What's wrong with Wolfie?
There are also other side missions like clearing out a Skynet base, which again is surrounded by T-800s and a Titan T-47 unit, which I wasn't going to fuck with. Now the atmosphere in Terminator Resistance again is also fantastic. Each mission and level I found myself hiding and avoiding detection, scavenging for supplies in basically every building. You'll have a flashlight for low light areas, but the best gear you have is these goggles that highlight nearby Terminators or anything connected to Skynet. While using these goggles you'll move incredibly slow and you won't be able to use your weapons, but they come in handy for seeing what's around a corner or in nearby areas. Now while Terminator Resistance is without a doubt the best thing to happen to the Terminator franchise post Terminator 2, there are a couple of weird issues with it. You'll obviously be able to crouch to avoid detection, I mean it's a staple for shooter games. While the crouch here is basically a prone. Is Jacob walking around like Robert Trujillo from Metallica? Graphics don't look too bad for a lower budget title, but some of the facial animations are a bit weird. Now also the voice acting isn't that great. It's not that bad, but it's not that great. The cutscenes feel like a more of a on-rails ride that you get at Universal Studios, and it's a little bit like Anthem. As a Terminator fan, I found Terminator Resistance pretty damn good, but it also had me wanting more. The levels are somewhat sandbox-like, but an open-world Terminator game would be pretty cool. Basically, make a Fallout game, but instead of nuclear Fallout, it's still nuclear Fallout, but it's the war against Skynet. It'd be rad having Terminators mark you on their hit list and hunt you down, so you don't know if the NPC in front of you is human or a Terminator. If going out during the day gives you more rewards like fresh food, where nighttime it's easier to get around and avoid detection. I mean, you get my point. It's an open world Terminator game like Fallout, and I think it'd be pretty rad. Now there is also free DLC included in Terminator Resistance, where you play as a Terminator going up against the Resistance. Now I haven't played this yet, and it might be a video for another time, but a smaller studio releasing a solid movie franchise game and then free story-based DLC? That's pretty damn impressive. Terminator Resistance had the same effect that the Mafia games had on me, where I went back and rewatched both Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and that's where the franchise fucking ends. I think it's safe to say Terminator Resistance is a good shooter for Terminator fans, and even if you're a small fan of the series, you'll still enjoy Terminator Resistance. As a shooter separate from the Terminator series though, it's still not too bad of a game. Finally, just before I wrap up the video, as of this week it has been a whole year since I started this YouTube channel. I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone who's checked out a video, who's liked, commented, subscribed, and just engaged. There's been a lot of late nights recording footage, writing scripts, and even taking some time to figure out what my next video is going to be. Now I am going to do another giveaway to celebrate this occasion, I just have no idea what to do as a giveaway. Previously I've done one of my favourite comic books of 2020, and I'm happy to do this again, or maybe even give away some games. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see and I'll try and get the ball rolling. Now that's it for this week, and I'll be back very soon with my review of Outriders on PC, as well as Subverse. Yes, that's right, I'm reviewing a porn video game.